Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 779. Well, today we are going to talk with a young man who won the National Proficiency in Ag Processing. Really well-spoken, exciting story to hear about working with meats and in the meat industry. We're going to get that started for you right now. Joining me today is Brayden Ingram, and he is coming to us from Har-Ber High School in Springdale, Arkansas. Brayden is on the leadership board there at Har-Ber High School, and he is a 2019 National Proficiency Award winner in Ag Processing. Brayden, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Well, you bet. And hey, I want to start off by saying congratulations on the National Proficiency Award. That is just incredible.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of hard work, but we got it, and glad to have it on my list of accomplishments.
That's great. Well, we'll circle back to that here in a moment. What I'd like to do is just kind of start out asking you just a few questions about you so our audience can get to know who they're listening to. Would that be all right with you?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
Okay. Well, how old are you now?
I'm 18 years old.
Okay. So that puts you in your senior year.
Yes, sir.
And when you're not at school, when you're at home, are you on a farm or are you in a town or are you something kind of in the middle of those two?
I'm in the middle of those two. With my mom, I live in town. I live in Springdale, but with my dad, I live on a beef and poultry farm.
Oh, okay. So you're splitting time between the two. I did the same when I was your age.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Interesting. And then on the beef and poultry farm, is that belong to your father? Is that in your family?
Yeah, that it belongs to him. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that like a multi-generational farm, or did he begin it?
No, he began it all by himself.
Okay. Very cool. Well, that's not very easy to do these days. So that's quite a deal. Okay. Interesting. Now, how long have you been part of the FFA?
I have been a part of the FFA my freshman year, so I believe that was 2016, 15 or 16.
Okay. So you started right away when you began high school. Why did you want to join the organization?
I had a lot of family in FFA before me. My grandpa was in it, my great uncle, my dad. So they always talked about it, and I was always in agriculture working on the farm, so I just took the ag classes, learned about FFA through the ag classes, and, just decided, my family did it. Why don't I do it as well? So I joined because of my family, pretty much.
Okay. And you're still doing it, so I assume that it turned out to be the right decision.
Yeah, it was definitely a good decision.
Good. Very good. Well, I know you're on the leadership board, and you and I were talking off the air. You said your school is so big that you do a leadership board rather than an officer team. Can you kind of tell us the difference and how it works?
So we would ask students in our ag classes if they knew who our advisors were, or not advisors, our president and at school was our FFA president, and they wouldn't know.
Okay.
And our school has about 1,500 students. So we thought, well, if we do a leadership board, which is comprised of 14 students, we could get FFA out there more, and more kids would know about it. So that's basically why we did a leadership board, just to get Har-Ber FFA out there more and have more students join.
I see. So you were asking students who were not in the FFA if they knew who the people on the officer team were, and they had no idea.
Yes, and they had no clue. So we felt like adding more students and not even having names, just being a part of a leadership board would get our name out there to more students join FFA.
Interesting. So now, to be on the leadership board, do you have to be an FFA member?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you have to be an FFA member.
But it creates more opportunities for students to get into leadership, and so that's helped you, I guess, recruit more of the students from your high school into the FFA organization. Am I understanding that correct?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. Interesting concept. When did that begin? Before you were there, or has that been since you started high school there?
I think they started a year before I got here.
Okay.
So that would have been 2016 when they started that.
So when you have something like a leadership board, then is there one person directing the agenda or directing the direction the chapter is taking, or is everything done based on votes and consensus and things like that on the board?
Pretty much votes and consensus. I can't even say the word consensus. There's about 14 of us on the team or on the leadership board right now, so
Okay.
we all get together generally every other week or so and talk about things we want to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically vote on things and just discuss things together.
Okay. Interesting way of doing it. Very interesting. Well, now, how many FFA advisors do you have with a school this size?
We have 3 FFA advisors.
Okay. Would you mind just letting the whole world know who those folks are?
Okay. Seth Jones, Patty Priest, and Jonathan Roberts.
All right. Well, thank you very much for acknowledging them. That's quite a big job at a school that size. How many students do you have in your FFA chapter?
In the chapter as a whole?
Yeah.
I'd say probably 30 to 40, somewhere in there.
Okay. And then more students than that are taking the ag classes and shop, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, about 450 are taking the ag classes.
Oh, wow.
And then 40 as members.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of students. Well, very cool. I'm glad there's that many students taking ag. That's wonderful that they're getting educated on that.
That's great.
Well, Brayden, I want to take a second and acknowledge a couple of our sponsors. Everybody, of course, I want to talk about Lacrosse Footwear. You can find them at lacrossefootwear.com. I'll tell you what, the Alpha Range boots from Lacrosse Footwear, they are built to work as hard as you. They are ideal for chores around the house and farm. They're waterproof, comfortable, and available for both men and women. Of course, I'm happy to say that because those are the exact boots we use on our farm here in Idaho every single day of the year, honestly, because I use them irrigating during the summer as well, and they stand up to everything I'm doing out there irrigating. And I always love to talk about Lacrosse Footwear when we do an FFA episode because Lacrosse is so proud to support the FFA by annually supporting and sponsoring 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. So please head on over to lacrossefootwear.com, see what they've got to offer, and slip a pair on your feet today. And everybody, of course, I also want to mention Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. Just so thrilled to have Powder River as a sponsor of this show. I, of course, have known about Powder River and have been using Powder River squeeze chutes and panels and sweep tubs for a large portion of my life at this point, and I'm so happy to have them right out here on our farm. Happy to have them as a sponsor, and we hope you will check them out over at powderriver.com. All right, well, Brayden, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. I want to know what you've been doing.
Okay. Well, my supervised agricultural experience is me working at War Eagle Processing. It's a custom butcher shop where we process beef and hogs for farmers in the surrounding area. Okay. And it's actually owned by my family, so my uncle Jeremy Israel owns the processing plant.
Okay. And so how long have you been working there?
I have worked there since 2016.
2016, okay. Now, is this something that came natural to you, or was it more of something where it's the family business and you're expected to do it?
Yeah, it was expected of me to do it. After my uncle bought it from another family member, he needed more people to work at the processing plant, so he asked me to start salting cowhide. So that was my first job. First day there, I was salting cowhide.
Okay. And then how has that progressed to today? Are you actually cutting the meat today?
No, I don't cut very much meat. I'll cut up some stew meat and bone out some round steaks. But what I mainly do is anything basically without a knife. I'll salt hides, clean the plant, clean the alleyway of the processing plant, move carcasses around, unload meat, wrap meat, talk to customers, unload the animals. Basically, pretty much anything with that. Doesn't have to involve a knife.
Okay.
But I do some things with the knife and cut a little bit of meat.
Okay. And so how come you're doing, I guess I should ask it this way, is there like an apprenticeship you have to go through before you can start cutting meat on a regular basis or something like that? Or is it you just prefer not to work with the knives and to cut meat? Or tell me about how that all lays out.
Well, they first started us out with butter knives, so you had to start cutting stew meat with a butter knife before you could actually get a real knife. That's how we all started.
Safety first,
cousins, so.
Right?
Safety first, yeah. It was a butter knife that we started out with.
Okay. And is this something you want to progress into, or is it? Are you fine with the tasks and the duties you have right now?
I'm fine with the tasks I have right now. I want to go into the meat industry, not with. I don't want to continue working at the processing plant. I want to go farther into the meat industry. I want to be a USDA grader, but due to the times and technology, USDA and graders aren't needed as much anymore. So I think I'm going to go into being an ag teacher.
Oh, interesting stuff. Okay. Well, so what did you learn about the meat industry that kind of attracted you to it since you've been working at the processing plant?
You know, I always seen places like Tyson and Cargill and all these major places, but I'd never really realized how small our business is compared to those places. You know, we generally we'll only process 6 beef and 6 hogs a week.
Okay.
So going from that to seeing a facility that processes 30,000 hogs a day just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So I just want to learn more about that part of the industry and not the mom and pop business part of the industry.
Gotcha. Well, you'll have the full scope of it when you're done, once you've learned about that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So tell me about the Proficiency Award. What went into receiving this, and what was it like to be up on that stage and have your name called?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was pretty crazy going up on stage in front of 70,000 kids. Just being a finalist, you go up there, and then actually having to stand right in the middle of the stage and have 70,000 kids looking at you. It was pretty crazy in Colt Stadium in Indianapolis. So I know my face was red and I was shaking. I was so excited, but it was quite a deal.
Yeah, that is really cool. So they actually did that one at Lucas Oil Stadium, not at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
No, if they had a game, actually, yeah, they do it. Yeah, they did it at the Lucas Oil Stadium. What's that team there that plays, the basketball team?
The Pacers.
Yeah, they had a basketball game that Friday, so we couldn't do it there this year.
Well, that's okay. You got to be in front of 70,000 students versus I think they can get 30 or 40 into Bankers Life Fieldhouse. So you got a bigger audience.
Yeah, more people will see me.
That is really cool.
A little bit more pressure.
Yeah, a little bit more pressure when you look out and you just see nothing but a sea of blue just as far as the eye can see out there.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Very cool. Well, tell me about your record book. What did it take to, I guess, develop a record book and a project that was worthy of this national award?
Well, you know, with the record book, you have to record all the things you do. So wrapping meat, I had to show how when I started in 2016, I could only wrap about 20 packages of meat an hour to now I can wrap probably about 150 packages an hour.
Oh, wow.
So just showing your progress through when you started till now is one of the things we have to do in the record book. How many customers we see a week, how I've progressed in more jobs. You know, like I said earlier, when I started, I was only salting hides. Now I wrap meat and move carcasses and move animals up, and I just have so many more jobs. So it's basically just your progression through the years of your proficiency.
Very cool. Well, you told us about your career aspirations and what you've got in mind. What's the next step in achieving that for you once you graduate high school?
I'm more than likely going to go to NWAC. It's the Northwest Arkansas Community College. I either want to go there or Eastern Oklahoma State College. And if I go to Eastern, I plan on getting my meat science degree. Or if I go to NWAC, I'll get my associate's degree and go to another school after that to get my ag education degree.
Okay. So now, if you go to Eastern Oklahoma, you're going to major in meat science. If you don't,
Correct.
you don't, you're going to major in ag ed. So how ultimately will you make that decision?
I don't know. I really don't know yet. I haven't decided, honestly. There's good things in both. I could learn more about the meat industry if I go into that, or I could actually stay basically in FFA as an ag teacher and get to work with kids, you know, which is something I'm really passionate about. I really love being in FFA, but I also love the meats industry. So I really haven't decided yet, you know, but I'm going to have to here in a few months. So we'll just have to see what I pick.
Would the meat science degree be considered an ag degree?
Yes, it would.
So if you were to get that one, could you still go get your teaching credential and still teach ag if you wanted to?
I haven't looked into that. I've never thought about it like that. I'll have to do some research on it and find out.
I suspect you'd be able to, but maybe talk to one of your ag advisors about this, not me. But that's just a thought I had, was if you got that ag degree and then went and got your credential, I bet you could still teach ag. And then if you decided, man, I would like to work in the meats industry and this is not for me, then you'd have that degree to fall back on. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You get the best of both worlds with that, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
I'll have to do some research and find that out.
It might work the other way for you, too. You get the ag ed degree, and then maybe you can still take that and go, I don't know. It bears looking into to kind of see which is the best pathway for you, to give you both options, I would think. But, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Well, it's exciting either way. I mean, you're obviously a very accomplished young man, and we need people like you in the classroom teaching ag, but we also need just you in ag in general. So either way, we're winners on this side of the microphone, Brayden. So I wanted to ask you, for another student out there listening, when it comes to, taking a job and then working at it, so you can go from wrapping 20 packages in an hour to 150 and really see that improvement and get increased responsibility. What advice would you have for them in being able to do that?
Not every kid's going to be in my situation where your family owns a business. So the best thing I can say is to just go find a job. And if you get that job, just to get some work ethic and just get your name out there that you're a hard worker, and that'll just lead to more success and more jobs and more opportunities for you. So just a good work ethic, a positive attitude, and always being the first one to take a job when the opportunity's there.
Very cool. Well, Brayden, it has been a pleasure to meet you and a pleasure to hear your story. I'm excited for you going forward. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us, everybody, and thank you to Brayden Ingram for coming on and sharing his story with us. Really enjoyed that. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.